Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our xLights Gem Series presentation on singing faces and how to make them sing with David Robinson. And with that, David, I will turn it over to you. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Andy. Um, so what I'm going to talk about tonight is singing faces and how they work and show you how to implement them. We'll be working on some lyric tracks and phonemes and music and all kinds of stuff. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what makes faces move. They're based on phonemes, and I may be saying the word wrong. I apologize. Phonemes are the shapes your mouth makes when you say words. So phonemes are used to define what a prop looks like, right? So let's go in and look at a layout and look at one of the singing faces. Let's look at this guy, if we can get him to come up. Where are you? There he is. So in the EFL singing snowman, Jackie has defined the faces to look a certain way. If these are phonemes, these are what set up your face movements. And by setting up your submodels or setting up your faces model, you basically tell it how to react. So those are what phonemes do. So as you can see the movement AI, it's a full open mouth as was defined by the model maker on this. So all of the face models use phonemes to tell it how to function or how to react. Um, they're modified. You can modify them here yourself, or you can make your own if you have your own model that you wish to use. So phonemes make them work. Uh, don't know where that went. Phonemes make it work, and faces submodels is where you store the information. And by the way, guys, ask any questions you want during this presentation. I'll be happy to answer as much as I can and or post it in chat, and one of the helpers may answer your question as well. So next discussion is music. How do you use music and create a sequence, or where do you get your music? Well, music is copyrighted, so you have to make sure when you get music, you use music that is paid for, and copyright rules allow you to use it for a home display, but not a commercial display. If you have a commercial display, legally you're supposed to go through AFSCAM or one of the agencies to request access and pay a license fee. So many of the folks in here are commercial sequence or commercial shows, and they have to pay access licenses for those. As a sequencer myself, I don't have to. I just have to reference the song that I create or am using for my sequence, and the person that purchases the sequence would then go purchase the music. So for tonight's demo, I'm going to create a musical sequence. And by the way, I'm going to be moving things off the screen and on the screen. So for tonight's presentation, I went ahead and created some my own music. It's non-copyrighted. So let me know if you guys can hear this. A family country Christmas with grandma and grandpa. Did y'all have any trouble hearing that?
No, it was good.
Okay. So this music was created in what, Sona or whatever it is, one of the AI music creation tools. I wanted to be sure when I did the presentation, I didn't use copyrighted material. So I created this, and anybody can use it if they wish. So when you create a music track, you can see how easy it is to import. You just create the sequence and you go grab the song from wherever you've stored it on your drive and you import it in. The next logical thing is to want to add timing or lyric tracks. So if we're going to add a timing track, sorry, wrong screen. If we're going to add a timing track, we're going to import a timing track, and we're going to go look for the music. Let me go open it on another screen because it's easier. And I'm only going to grab the first portions of this lyric track. Let's just cancel where we're at. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Import lyrics. So when you import lyrics, it gives you the ability to import the lyrics themselves. So I have the lyrics out in a Word document right here, and I'm only going to bring the first part of the lyrics in. So in that screen, when you select import lyrics, where did they all go? You can paste those in the screen, and now you can go ahead and import those into your sequence. Notice that it brought those lyrics in expressly how I had them created in the Word document. So there's breaks, which indicate where the words are, where the phrases are. At this point, with the timing created, you can break down the phrases and create words. And if we drill in here a little bit and zoom this in, notice there are the words broken down. And the next level is to break down the phonons. You're going to break down the words and show the phonemes. Notice it's pulling up a standard dictionary. There is the ability in xLights to use foreign language dictionaries as well. I'm not going to go into that tonight, but the foreign language dictionaries show how the phonemes break out against words. So this is how it's going to create the phoneme. So let me go ahead and bring up Jackie's snowman, wherever he's at on here. Well, I thought he was here. Scream out if you see him. He's here somewhere. Let's just use the singing tree girl. So at this point, you could add a face to the singing tree girl. Notice that it shows in the upper right corner what the model looks like. In the settings for the where did it go? Why does it keep doing that? Okay, here it is. It's because it keeps hiding. There we go. At this point, you would point the singing face to the timing, and right now it's called new timing, and you would give it a face definition. In this one, face one works fine, so I'm going to use it. And you would show outline. When you show outline, the ability to change the colors are relative to what's checked here. The first one is the mouth. The second one is the eyes. Let's just make the eyes green. And the third one is the tree. Let's make the tree purple because it's a girl. And that's how you change the colors. You can also use states as an outline if you wish. I do not have states built for this. I always use, for this particular prop, I just set the colors this way. But you have the ability, if you have a prop that's quite intricate and you want to use the same colors all the time, you would define a state and use that as your model builder or as your color builder. So you have the ability to do that. So now we've created a singing face with the girl, and we're going to go ahead and play it and see how it works. Why didn't she sing? Huh. Still not singing.
Did you lose your timing track on your face?
Yeah. It's called new timing. Okay, it seems to be working now. That doesn't make sense, but okay.
No, Maybe a render?
That's weird. Oh, there it is.
With grandma and grandpa
Notice that
smiling
it's not
bright, the
working
smell
anywhere
of hot
near what the song's
chocolate and
doing,
cookies in
right?
the air.
And the reason it's not is I just threw those in there as I had them from the file. So if things don't align in how you do this, you have the ability to move the words around however you wish. So let's just say the A is in the wrong place. You just click on it and move it to where you want it to be. At that point, you may want it just where the phoneme goes. So I would delete the phoneme and break down the word again. And you can move these around however you want. When I first started doing this, you had to do this manually, and it was a hell of a lot of work to try and, I think OG showed me how to do it, and I just couldn't get my head around it. But Ron showed me how to do it, and it's just a ton of work if you have to do this manually, if you're moving all these words around. So I don't do that anymore. I use a tool called Auto Lyric Align. Auto Lyric Align is a free tool that's out there for anybody to use. Um, we'll bring up the URL on the other window. But Auto Lyric Align allows you to import it allows you to import songs and create lyrics on the fly. So how that works is point to the MP3 that you're going to use, which is not there. You point to the MP3, and then you would take the text that you've created of the lyric track. Again, that's from this file I created earlier, the doc, and you would basically grab all of the words, right click copy, and right click paste. At that point in time, and I don't need ASDFF there, if you wanted to edit it, if you didn't like the way it looked in the Word document, you can also edit it here. Normally, most people edit it in the Word document and get rid of words that make no sense or are hyphenated or things like that. You clear all of those out. So at this juncture, once you have your song selected and your words, you would upload that to this application, and it then starts processing the application or processing the request. So we're going to move this aside because I've already processed it. I've already done all of that. So at this point, I would right click and say import timing track. And when it creates the timing track for you, it gives it a name like output. This one happens to be output 49. And notice how it's now broken all of the words down and the phrases and put them where they align in the song. So let's change this to verse 1 over here. And you can name these whatever you want, it doesn't matter. So change that to verse 1, and now let's play it and see what it does.
A family country Christmas with grandma and grandpa smiling bright, the smell of hot chocolate and cookies in the air. As we gather around.
Now, just because you import it from that doesn't mean it's always going to be correct. There is the opportunity that the words could be off and or they could be in the wrong place. So you have to listen to it and editing it the way I said earlier, like if this word is in the wrong place, sorry, went the wrong way. If this word is in the wrong place or it's not stretched out long enough relative to what they're saying in the song, you just stretch it out and then break down the word again. And that gives you the ability to edit how it is. So I'm not going to listen to all this. Are there any questions on editing the lyric tracks or changing the phonemes or words? No questions? Okay.
What do you do if a word just doesn't exist because it's like a slang word or something?
Yeah. So what I usually do is I just copy one that I have and then right click and paste it Why didn't you paste? Oh, it's because it's selected here. And right click and paste. Come on. There it is. And then I just grabbed the AS because it was there. If I need to change the word, I just shift and double click on it, and now I can change the word to whatever I want. And now the word is modified to whatever you hear in the song. So if there's background singers and they're going ooh ah, you can go add background singers. So as I just did here, I just put the word Halloween in here and now I broke it down. So she will sing the word Halloween even though it's not in the song. She would sing it. So you have the ability to change the words however you want and move them around. The other thing you can do is if a phoneme doesn't look right, it isn't the right mouth movement for you, you can shift double click and change it to any one of the phonemes that you think look more correct. So you have the ability to change phonemes, change the words, and make it look as you wish it to look. So it's very easy to edit and change it however you want. Does that make sense? Cool beans. So this one is completed. I've done the import. Let's let it play for a little bit.
A family country Christmas with Grandma and Grandpa smiling bright, the smell of hot chocolate and cookies in the air. As we gather around the firelight, kids on Grandpa's lap listening to
Notice the
tales
green
of
line that
old.
says verse 1.
As the
That is the
dogs
whole
play
lyric
around
track.
the tree, a
And
sight to
the words
behold.
below it
Christmas
broken
gifts
down are
under
broken down
the tree.
relative to where they are in the music. So it automatically positions it where it's at in the music. So it moves tree to where it's at, puts everything where you want it to be. So it's a good tool, Auto Lyric Align. If you haven't seen it, it's something you should look at. Once the file is completed, I'm going to refresh the screen. Notice at this point it gives you the ability to download the song, and you download it. It goes to your download directory, and notice it says output timing 38. So this creates the whole lyric track for you and gives you the ability to position it wherever you want it to be. So are there any questions on any of that? Okay, I think I've covered a lot of what I have. Changing phonemes, moving timing, changing words, building phonemes. Let's get into that a little bit, phonemes. I kind of mentioned it a moment ago. In the faces dialog is where you would change the phonemes. If you don't like, here's the snowman. If you don't like the way his mouth is, you would come in and change it to whatever you want it to be by selecting the um, appropriate areas on his mouth. Right now you can see it's this. If you want to change it to get the middle part, you would click on the icon, or excuse me, click on the pixel and add it to whatever the breakdown is. And of course, once you've done that, you would just click OK. So you have the ability to modify phonemes relative to what you're seeing. So any questions on that? Okay. Let's say you have a matrix in your layout and you want to put this is part I hate, Daryl. I got to find my matrix. You have a matrix in your layout and you want to put a singing face on it. You drop the singing face on it. And at this point, I just happen to have Bing Crosby. And Bing Crosby has, by default, picked up verse 1. So in a matrix type organization, or matrix type, you can grab any one of the phonemes or excuse me, the face definitions that are available. These are all out on xLights, and you can pick up them. Daryl made most of these, but you can pick those up if you need one. You can go download it. Trying to figure out where I download it. I thought you download it right here, but I guess not.
In the layout.
Matrix, matrix, matrix. Go into the matrix. At this point, you would add right here. You can add it by defining it yourself, or you can go out and import from a file, or you can import from another model. If you have the file already downloaded, you can pick it up here. I thought there was a way to add it right from xLights. I don't see it. Is it from model?
Well, you click add and put a name in it, and then there's just to the right there's download images. So you got to give it a name first. Yep. So click on add. To the right there, click on add, or give it a name. Now you can go to download images. Just to the bottom right there, just to the right there. Down an inch.
Oh yeah, sorry. So once you go into xLights, these are all the different faces that you can download for your matrix. Let's just go into Halloween and let's click odd face. So basically these are already all created for you and available out there. Let's take the scary clown. Notice it picks up what the phonemes are and sets them up for you so that you can use those now in any of your matrices. So let's pull up the matrix again on sequencer and face definition. Oh, I have to get off of it. Hold on a second. Where did you go? Where did it go?
What are you looking for, Dave?
For the settings, it disappeared.
Oh, the little icon. Oh, you can do reset view if you need to. This is the effect settings button.
That's weird.
I didn't
Usually
put in
goes usually goes to the other screen. But again, it should show up here. I called it, what did I call it? New. So now you have the evil clown. I just called it new. But you have the ability to import any singing face you want from xLights and or people like Daryl who make them kindly for us. We use those as well. So I think I've covered everything about singing faces. Are there any questions that you have? Would any one of the other helpers like to add any color to this discussion tonight? Please feel free to do so.
I have a question.
Sure.
I was wondering if I want to have, say, instead of singing face on a matrix, what if I want to have like animated bell or something? Would I create it the same way?
Daryl, do you want to talk to that since you create a few animations for matrices?
Well, an animated bell meaning just an animated GIF, and then you would drop on a picture effect. Is that what you're talking about?
So there is one model I saw, it was from Meadows, I believe, and they have a prop with bells that you can animate. But I was looking to do something to put that image on a matrix and have it swing, but I am not sure how to do that. I think I'm gonna have to create the state effect, but I don't know how to put
Yeah,
that
that
state
sounds
effect on
something
the
like the
matrix.
state effect.
Different.
Yeah, where
I see.
you
Okay.
say different. There'd be four different states where it's swung to the left, it's down in the
Uh,
center, swung to the right, 1, 2, 3, maybe something like that. So yeah, it's not really a face effect
oh, so
in
this
that
it's a
scenario.
little bit different than this.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit different.
Got it.
Yeah, it like this of state allows you to set different positions for the bell. So what you would end up doing is defining those. I think Jackie's going to cover states in an upcoming class, so I don't want to take away his thunder. He's the state expert.
Got it. Okay.
But
So how did you get to this page, the face definition once again for matrix? You
in the
went to,
in the layout, and I've
oh,
selected the matrix, and I go to faces,
oh, got it. Okay. Thank
and
you.
then add a new one and just call it whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw that whole part. I just missed that one click. So
Oh yeah,
thank
that's
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you can go in and import, any file you want. Um, Again, there's tons of them out there that are already created and ready to use.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know how big your matrix is, but how would you put two singing faces on the same matrix?
So, how I would do that, good question, Daryl, is I would go into the sequence for the matrix and I would change my buffer settings. I would right click and halves, and I'm going to call left half. And I would insert a second line and I'd put another face on it. And on this one, I would buffer it to halves, right half. And now I have two singing faces. Let's change this one to, let's change this one to be, come on, don't go away on me now. Keeps going up on the top line. I would change this one to, let's make it Sia. So now when it sings, it should be showing, the matrix should be showing.
Christmas trees, lights.
Where did it go? I thought I set it up.
You might
Did
have
it
to
go?
render it.
No, it shouldn't have to render.
It's not long enough for something, or wherever the face effects disappeared to.
Yeah. Let's set the second one down.
You lost your timing tracks too, David,
Yeah,
with your verses and songs.
yeah. They're right here. It's just they're not being displayed now because they're off to the right or left.
Oh,
They're right
oh,
there.
Oh, you're zoomed so far in, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just zoomed so far in. Let me just zoom it out so you can see them. And it's because these guys,
Even if you just play the first 10 seconds of the sequence, you'll get the idea.
yeah. So right here, you can see that.
A family.
So now there's two faces on the right half. We'll select it and change it to, let's change it to the new guy. So now you can see there's two singing faces on the same matrix next to each other singing the same thing.
A family country Christmas with grandma and grandpa smiling bright.
Now, sometimes you have multiple tracks or you have backup singers. And how I handle backup singers is I would import another timing track and I would just import the same one I did before. And I would go through the timing track and remove the words that don't apply. So let's just say this is the backup track. I'm going to rename this to backup. And now that's the backup track. And I would go into the words because let's say the backup singer doesn't sing a lot. Let's say they don't sing this part, this part, dang it. The backup doesn't sing this part. So I just delete it out. And now let's go back to one of these and put them on backup. instead of verse 1. And now one of them will sing and one of them won't.
A family country Christmas with Grandma and Grandpa smile.
Basically, if you have multiple singers, like a Petronic song, you have 5 different lyric tracks, and you would go through and remove the words that don't apply for each one of the other singers. So I did Pentatronics last year, and it took 16 hours to do the timing tracks and do the lyric tracks for them. I did another song with 3 singers, and it took about 5 hours to get through them. So you have to go through and listen to the song multiple times and then remove what's not needed. But that gives you the ability to add multiple timing tracks for multiple singers on your from your music.
David, Cheryl has a question, says, how can you fix the sequence when the mouth starts a second or two before the singing?
Good question. So the phonemes are what determine where it starts singing, right? So let's just move over here. Let's just say that on this particular word, with, it's saying it too soon. You only have to move the beginning of the word, but what I normally do is I just take the word and shrink it down, and then I would go ahead and break down the word again. Notice where the phoneme starts now shifted to the right. You would do the same thing to the left. If the word's not in the right place, you can move it wherever you want. And now it's going to start relative to where the phonemes exist on the line. So you can move them to wherever you want. So even though this isn't where it really is in the song, when this plays, that's when it's going to start singing. Notice he said with.
With.
Let's then make that smaller. Even though the word with is starting right here, I moved it to the left. So you can move the words wherever you want and break them down in the phonemes wherever you want.
With Grandma and Grand.
So you just move them wherever you want on the line. Good question, Cheryl. Anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, there was one. If you have a choir, can I put them all in a group and sing the same thing? So that's you, Joe answered that. Yes, you just
Yes, you
point them
do
all to
that.
the same timing track.
Yeah, that's correct. They all go off the same timing track. So if you have like 5 backup singers and 1 lead singer, I usually put all the 5 backups on one backup track and then the lead on its own. And that way the whole band would be singing on the backup. Now, if you have one person that breaks out and says, ah, or whatever, he tries yodeling like Daryl's favorite singer does, I would put that on its own track and just put it wherever that yodeling takes place and then point to that at that point for one of your singers. So, like I said, with Pentatronics, it was 5 separate tracks with Mariah Carey and Jennifer Hudson, and what is her name? I don't know. I can't remember her name. But I had to have 3 different tracks and set the yodeling up specific for Mariah Carey and Jennifer Hudson, and move the tracks individually and put the words where they want. So I started with 1 timing track, and the 1 timing track that I put over to Auto Lyric Align, it was from the lyrics that I downloaded from the internet, but it didn't have all the breakouts of all the 3 singers. So I had to go through and break them out individually and then move the words where they needed to go. So if it's a choir, it's pretty easy. You just put them on one. But if they're singing different things throughout the song, you've got to set up separate ones if you want it to look right. In reality, more than likely, no one's going to notice all that hard work, but you have the ability to do it.
Cheryl has another question, says, how do you know how many lyric tracks are in a song?
Well, there's only 1 lyric track. Now, how many singers are in the song? That's a different story. I can't remember. Oh Santa, I think was the song. If you go out and do a search on Oh Santa, let's look at that one. So this one doesn't really break down who's singing what, but that's total lyrics for the whole song. So when I did this one, I had to sit there and go through the video of them singing the song and determine who was singing what where. And then I would move it to the appropriate lyric track for Mariah or Jennifer or what is that other girl's name?
Taylor?
Ariana Grande.
Yeah, Ariana Grande. So I had to break up 3 lyric tracks and have 3 different tracks. One was named Jennifer, Ariana, and Mariah. But this is the lyrics. It doesn't show them broken down. Now that doesn't mean they're not broken down out there somewhere, truthfully. I mean, they may be. I just didn't take the time to go through and look if it was broken down anywhere. So let's go back and see if it's broken down anywhere else. There's Oh Santa lyrics by Genius. This one may show it. Nope, chorus, verse, chorus. It doesn't break it down. Bridge. It doesn't show who has which singing part, so you have to go through and break it out manually. Let's see if it's in this one. This one says background vocals. Oh, this shows the breakdown. So verse 1 shows all 3 singing. This one shows all 3 singing. All 3 singing.
Well, I think if you look at that again, David, the one in italics matches the italics words in the chorus. The ones in bold match the bold.
Thank you, whoever
Gotta
threw him
love these
out.
kids. I got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So in this breakdown, you would see in bold, that's Ariana Grande. She's singing, right? Jennifer Hudson singing what's in italics. Mariah Carey's, the plain. In this one, the breakdown of the words match who's singing what. Now, again, not everything's going to have this breakdown, but I would go to this and grab it or use this as how I break down the lyrics once they're done. Now you can go in to Auto Lyric Align, and if you want to just pull out the lyrics that apply to which one's singing it, you can do that and submit it 3 times. But it's just a lot of work. For me, it was just easier to go through and listen to it and break it out.
I've muted anybody. If you want to ask a question, raise your hand. We'll unmute you.
Well, that's all I have for the night. Does anybody want to add anything else on Singing Faces before I drop off? Or any other questions?
If you have a question, you'll need to raise your hand or put it in chat. We'll give it a second here.
Yeah, I'm seeing no chats.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I'm seeing no chat. Okay. Thank you, David. That was great.
All right. Thank you very much. Everybody have a great evening. Thanks for